crafty friends, thank you very much for joining me. Annette Kessler here with Saturday Mixtravaganza, and today I'm creating a mixed media layout, words, and you're gonna see in a minute why I've decided to call it words. So I want to start with all of these letter stickers that I have. They're all packs that I've used, and this is what is left. This is basically what happened to all the letter stickers during time. They simply fell out of the backing plastic that they were on, and they started sticking to themselves and creating little piles of letter stickers, basically ruining the entire, letters that remained. So what I'm gonna do is use all of these letters in my layout, and this is a great way to use all your leftover letters, because sometimes we're left over with just a few letters that can help us in no way in terms of spelling a word, and they just sit there. So instead of them just sitting there, why don't you use them and maximize your supplies? So what I'm doing here is I'm starting to put all those letter stickers on the background on my paper, and notice that I don't put them all straight. Some of them are on their side, upside down, make it funky, make it interesting. And I've started with the bigger ones that are actually have less of a height. They're more flat, and these black ones are more they pop out more. So I'm gonna add them in between the white letters, and I'm using some of the backing of the letters. The glue is already gone, so I have to add some glue so they would stick properly to the paper and won't fall down. And this is a kind of a collage. Actually, it looks really great as it is, with the black and white letters. However, it's a little bit too noisy for the background for what I want to do in this layout, so I am going to cover it later with some gesso. But first I want to finish with all the letters and put them on my paper. So like I said, it's a really good way to use excuse me, you use your stash of letter stickers that are either ruined like mine, or just not enough letters remaining to spell anything. So you just keep on adding those letters until you're happy with whatever you have going on the paper. Basically, the aim is to create a textured background for one, because letters have, I don't know if you've noticed, but letters have really nice shapes, so it will make a really nice background in terms of texture, but also it has a meaning in terms of using the letters themselves, because I could have used other shapes or metal embellishments like I sometimes do, or but I wanted to use the letters for a reason, and you're gonna see why in just a second when we continue with creating this layout. So basically I'm adding those letters around where I want to add the picture later, the photo. Like it's gonna go in there. Some of the letters fall off and I need to secure them with some more glue. Actually, there's really nice letters, and really annoys me that this has happened, but what can we do? So now I'm going to take a brush with long bristles, and I'm going to go over the letters with gesso. And that's what happens when you don't secure them all with glue and you think the glue will hold. It didn't hold on the backing paper, so why would it hold on the paper? May not. Yes. So now I have to go back and add glue to those letters that I didn't add glue before. And I just want to add another one here. So like I just started saying, I'm going to cover them with gesso. And you know, letters have a lot of nooks and crannies and corners and curves and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I'm using long bristles brush, so I can go in all those corners and curves. And another one, another letter has come out. I need to secure them all with glue. So this is annoying. So anyway, you covered them all. You go in all those curves and corners of all the letters, because we don't want the colors to show. I just want the shape of the letter. So I need to cover the black mainly and the white. So I'm just going over all the letters, adding some glue when needed. And here as well. And first layer is done, so I'm going to heat set it. And then once it's all dry, I'm going to do another layer of gesso. This time a little bit more gesso on my brush, and really going in with a thicker coat. Again, making sure to not have little pools of gesso in the corners or in between the letters. So that helps if your brush has really long hair. This way you can remove whatever excess gesso you have there. So the bristles are flexible, and when they're longer, they're easy to work with. So you just go ahead, and I also add a little bit of gesso around the margins, around the edges of the entire area where their letters are, so it will blend nicer. It will blend more visually in the background, because we don't want just a white area and then the rest of the paper is in another color. That would seem not embedded or blended properly in the background, because basically what we're doing here is creating a textured background to our layout. So it needs to blend nicely into the background, into the paper. So you just go ahead and cover all your letters with gesso. And I forgot to put my mat under my page, my mixed media Teflon mat. So everything now is covered in gesso, but it's okay, we can clean that up later. So this is just about done, and you can go ahead and heat set it and dry everything. And I just want to add a little bit more gesso, blending it into the paper. And this time I've watered my brush. I've used a dry brush before, but now it's watered, so the gesso is a little bit diluted, and this way I can go over the page and then it really blends in the background. Just going over the letters one last time where I think it's needed, and then a final heat set, and Look how beautiful that is. All the letters, the shapes. I really love this, you guys. So, spraying now. Now, I want a very, very mild and muted color when I spray. So, after I spray, I just go over and rub it with my finger to just blend in the color a little bit more to the background. I also use a brush to go into those gaps and corners of the letters. So instead of having a really small dots, the spray sometimes do, it looks like watercolors now when I blend everything together. So it's very, very mild, as you can see. Just go over the entire area where I sprayed with my brush. And the brush is wet, so that makes things a little bit easier. You just wet your brush, and then the spray, which is already water with color, becomes even more watery and very, very muted. The color is very light. I don't want bold colors on this. So this is my teal. I'm going to go in with some pink now. Yes, pink. Imagine that. Usually I don't like pink, and I hardly ever use it, but I don't know why I want to this time. So it's also very muted pink. It's not like the pink. So I go in with the brush so I won't have pools of spray. And then this is the first coat, so you have to heat set it and let it all dry. So then you can go in with another color. This is brown. So I'm blending all the sprays together. Very, very muted background. Not too strong this time. This time I want it to be very light and have a water color effect to it. So I'm gonna heat that and dry everything. Just add a little bit more here and there while drying the other parts. And I really like how this comes together, how all the colors blend. Very muted. Really like the color. Just gonna add a little bit more blue, darker blue. And the fingers are the best tool. Just want a little bit of bluish, darker color here. The bottom as well. And you just dry everything and make sure it's ready for next step. I really like how this turned out. Pretty. So this is my photo, and I'm going to add some foam tape to it. This is so wet. I'm going to put something, otherwise my photo is going to get wet. So I'm going to build a tower of foam tape pieces, two actually, one on top of the other. So it will give it height. And I'm going to add my photo to the layout exactly where the space is, where there are no letters, which is about here. Once I've added my photo, I can go ahead and add more stuff to it. I have some pieces from scrap paper that I want to add around the photo, and this is another way, great way of using your stash and maximize your supplies. I always keep the leftover paper that I have, and then when I need it for something like this, for a layout or a card or whatever, I have small pieces of paper that I can add and use, and use my supplies, and I don't need to grab a new paper. So basically these are torn pieces from scraps of paper that I'm adding around I'm tucking them under the photo, creating a frame around my photo. Some people like to do this before they add the photo, but I like to do it later. That's why I put my glue in the middle of the photo, so all the edges will be free for me to tuck things under them. So this is, for me, the preferred way of adding a frame or papers or something under a photo. Another piece. Okay, I think just one more piece down there, and that's it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and move on to creating our words. Remember, this is a word themed layout. So I have here more scraps of paper, and I'm going to spray them a little bit with the same sprays that I used on my background. That was teal and pink and brown. Just ever so slightly, just to tie everything together on the layout. So I want them to have that same background hue to my papers. And just use your fingers to spread the color, the sprays all over the paper. And after this is dry, I'm gonna write words on them with a black pen. First, let me grab this. This is another paper by Prima with the hearts, and I want to use a few hearts on my layout. So again, I'm just spraying them lightly with the colors that I've used on the background. And once it's dry, I'm going to cut a few hearts with some scissors and add them to my layout as embellishments. So I'm going to dry this. And now I can go ahead and cut it with, I think it's dry enough to cut with my scissors. So just cut out the hearts. I'm going to use three hearts. I really love the shapes. It's a really old paper by Prima, but I hang on to it because I love the hearts. And I don't know, I think I'm that kind of person that holds on to, I have really old papers, but if I like them, I just keep them because I keep on using them for stuff, and I don't care that they're from 5 years ago or 6 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever. I'm just adding a little bit more of the sprays to each heart and drying it with the heat tool. And so this is a paper that I have for a lot of years, but every now and then I just go and grab a heart. So I really like the design that they did with the heart, so I like that one. So just finishing the last heart, and now I can write. These papers are dry, and I can go ahead and write the words that I wanted with a black pen. Of course, you can go ahead and take a piece of A4 or whatever paper you use in your printer and just print the words, but I just wanted them handwritten on my on the papers. So I'm gonna write some words on my paper, and then after I write the words, these are all words about brothers and loves and love and friends, and you know, nice lovey-dovey words that two boys sometimes find really hard to say to each other, or you know, to anyone for that matter. Um, so I'm just gonna cut all the words out. I don't care if it's not very straight. I actually found out that I don't cut very straight lines. I'm sorry. But I actually don't care. It's supposed to be, a handmade layout, and I like the fact that it's not completely straight. So if you like your cuts to be very straight, you can go ahead with the ruler and a pencil and just mark all the words around and then cut them. But it will take you a long time, and it's less fun to measure stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all the words to my layout. And I'm going to start with brothers, because these two little guys, my guys, are so cute. So I'm going to go ahead and add all the papers, all the letters, all the words to my layout like that. The words have no particular order, but I'm going to put them all like that, one on top of the other, all over the paper. And up there as well, another word. Move away those hearts for a bit. And okay. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my hearts. You have to use liquid glue here because you have texture, don't forget, because of the letters. So when you glue stuff on them, it's not a very straight surface, so you better use liquid glue that will really give you good hold for stuff so they won't fall. So I'm going to get some black twine here, and I'm going to create a knot in the middle, symbolizing the knot between the brothers. I like when stuff on my layout have meaning. I don't like just to put stuff on my layout. For me, when I do a layout, things on it have meaning, and I don't just put stuff on it. Sometimes I do, but most of the time they have meaning and they have thought behind them. So I'm going to use the twine to spell the words, and my hands are really sticky, so I'm going to get some tweezers to help me. And basically what I do is I write the letters with the glue and then just glue on the twine. It's going to be annoying, especially if your hands are really sticky, but I really like the way it looks, so I'm going to bear with myself and I'm going to stick it out and do this. Because it will be really hard to do this with a pen to write, because there is texture there. Remember the letters? So if you don't want to do the twine thing here, you can take letter stickers or write it on a piece of paper and add that to your layout. But I don't think you'll be able to write with a pen with all that texture there with the letters. So there's the D now, and my S. See, isn't that cool? I think it was worth it. Takes a little while, but it's worth it. I'm going to do the other side now with the knot. And now I'm going to take those scraps of papers that we used before and add the other part of my title, which is Don't Come Easy. Words don't come easy. Remember that song? I really like that song. But for those guys, Words don't come easy. So this is the layout. I'm gonna cut out the quote and add it to the paper there, right about here. And I'm gonna take a really fine black pen and just create a small frame around each word, just to make it pop more, be more visible. And again, no rulers, no straight lines, whatever I do it, you know, it's fine by me. Just gives them a little bit more oomph. So here are all my words. And here I don't want to do that. I'm gonna leave this without a frame. Could just cut the excess of the black twine. And basically I think I'm done. I really like this layout. I really like how it turned out, with the textured background, with the muted colors and the little hearts and the words. Lot of words. Just gonna remove this. There's a little bit of glue on the letters, and I remind you to use a glue that dries clear, so when it dries you won't see the glue, just those twine letters that are that you've created. And this is up close. See all the texture and the color? Isn't that cool, you guys? I really like this. This turned out great. And the words and the title. So I really like this layout. I hope you were inspired a little bit. Thank you very much for joining me for this video tutorial. Have a great weekend, you guys. Bye.